All right, we are almost ready to start again with the second session. I invite you all to please take your seat. For the online participants, I remind you to download the Zoom application on your computer or device in order to use the interpreting services. A globe icon should appear at the bottom of the application, and you can select the preferred language. Right. In the meantime, the conference will go on with the first discussion panel entitled Important Initiative Enhancing Women's Entrepreneurship. I will call here on stage the two amazing moderators that will be moderating indeed the panel, Mrs. Marija Risteska and Mr. Alessandro Cinti. Thank you for joining me. Yes, please take your seats. Mrs. Risteska is currently embedded in the Montenegrin Competitiveness Council and supports women economic empowerment reforms in the country. Mr. Cinti is a postdoctoral researcher at the Department of Management at the Marche Polytechnic University, which is a member of UniAdrion. So I will leave them the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this introduction. We have very good panelists for today, 8 of them, and they all come from different walks of life, but with great experience to women entrepreneurship. First of all, we have Kaca Đuričkovic, who is the leader of the gender equality team in the UNDP Montenegro office, which is a center of excellence, knowledge sharing and expertise dissemination organization in gender equality. Kaca is joining us online. Welcome, Kaca. Then I invite Sanja Popović Pantic, who is researcher, consultant, and manager specialized in innovation in the SME sector and female entrepreneurship. She works at the Institute Mihailo Pupin in Serbia.
Thank you. I will invite also Ms. Tiziana Pompei, Deputy Secretary General of Unioncamere, Italy. Welcome. And also Ms. Alma Harašić Bremec, President KRUG, Croatian businesswoman Race Yacht Initiative.
We also have Evisi Kopliku, who is expert on competitiveness at Regional Cooperation Council, joining us online again. And on the panel, we also have 𝐈𝐌𝐏𝐻𝐑𝐄𝐍𝐓 Robaina Alfonso, who is the project advisor supporting women's entrepreneurs at 𝐈𝐼SMEA, who will join us in person or online. Marina Duani, president of the Scutari Regional Council. Welcome.
And Ms. Anila Limes, Women Economic Empowerment Program Coordinator. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. We saw the presentation of the results of the status of women's entrepreneurship in our region, and I think it's very dire results. We have 20% gap in terms of labor market participation and employment, and we didn't see the data on inactivity, but that would also show us an even bigger gap between women and men, and even bigger opportunity in that sense for development of the economy, considering that some countries which have continuous 10% economic growth, like the US and Turkey, are actually basing that success yearly only because they are unlocking the women's potential on the labor market and using it into the economy. It is inevitable to say that for this to become a development potential, women's participation in labor market and economy to become a development potential, we need active policies that support women's entrepreneurship. And for that, we need political leadership. And I very much like that Kaca Đuričkovic has agreed to be panelist on this panel because she's the person who initiated the Women Political Network in Montenegro, which elaborated a very successful local program support for women's entrepreneurship. I want to ask Kaca to elaborate what are the reasons why UNDP succeeded in developing this program, and what is the impact of the Women's Economic Empowerment Entrepreneurship program that they have supported. What are the ingredients of success? Kaca?
Pa dobro, prvo da poželim svima dobar dan, da osiguram da se čujemo. Pozdrav iz Istanbula. Vjerujem da crnogorsko sunce danas sija punom sjaju. U znak dobrodošlice svim dragim gostima i gošćama na ovako značajan događaj i ujedno želim da se zahvalim na poziv da prisustvujem ovom panelu. Ja ću govoriti na crnogorskom jeziku sa željom da i na taj način doprinesem promociji naše zvučne domovine, kako to volim da kažem. I da se vratim na ovo vrlo važno Marino pitanje, dakle, postoji nekoliko ključnih stvari u našem radu koje kada posmatramo proces ekonomskog osnaživanja žena i specifično žensko preduzetništvo, moramo da imamo u vidu. Nekako to su neke opšte karakteristike. Ja bih voljela da tom vertikalnom prođemo. Prvo da mora da se oslanja na jako dobro poznavanje konteksta. Ovdje govorim i o pravnom sistemu i o postojećim mehanizmima, servisima podrške koji postoje, ali i onim nedostacima, odnosno i ekspertizi, baš specifično u oblasti rodne ravnopravnosti, ekonomskog osnaživanja i ženskog preduzetništva, kome je UNDP posvećen jako dugi niz godina u kontinuitetu. To je jedan od naših naravno prioriteta i nešto što definitivno stavljamo u fokus budućeg rada. Nije na osnovu svih ovih pokazatelja koji su i na uvodnom panelu koleginice iznijele, vrlo je jasno da je jako puno prostora za rad i jako puno prostora za unapređenje ovog polja. Na ovom polju i za nas je gledano ovdje u Crnoj Gori konkretno za taj trenutak o kome sada Marija govori kao dobroj praksi, kada su se političarke 18 političkih partija u Crnoj Gori ujedinile sa ciljem da u stvari mijenjaju na bolje crnogorski kontekst, normativni okvir i tako dalje, usmjerile na vrlo jasan cilj koji je bio u stvari definisan na osnovu prepoznatih potreba i nedostataka, a ne tako izolovano, da kažem samo 18 političkih partija žene u ženskoj političkoj mreži, već i sa svim onim važnim partnerima koji u zemlji radi, djeluju dugi niz godina, kao što su recimo stručne asocijacije poslovnih žena ili ženskog preduzetništva, gender mehanizmi, kako ih mi zovemo, odjeljenje za rodnu ravnopravnost i drugi vrlo važni akteri, kao što je tadašnji skupštinski odbor i danas veliki broj istaknutih liderki koji se bavi politikama rodne ravnopravnosti, koji ima kapacitet da tu viziju vrlo jasno pretoči u jednu konkretnu mjerljivu inicijativu i akciju. Kontekst crnogorski nije bitno drugačiji kao što ste vidjeli u odnosu na ono što doživljavaju žene na prostorima Zapadnog Balkana. Nažalost, ni zemlje Evropske unije ne odskaču, tu postoje tipični prostori za unapređenje i vezano za obrazovanje, i vezano za vještine, i vezano za specijalizovane obuke, pristup resursima, imovini i sredstvima, materijalnim, finansijskim, neprilagođenost servisa, onih koji već postoje kao ponuda ženama i odnosno njihovim potrebama, i jedna vrsta, pa ja bih rekla, izostanka kontinuirane, kolektivne posvećenosti na svim nivoima, da se istraje, da se zaista stvori onaj ambijent i onakva vrsta podrške koju polovina populacije u Crnoj Gori i u drugim zemljama praktično zahtijeva, a koje opet su direktno u zavisnosti od strukturnih stvari, kao što su karakteristike tržište rada ili fiskalne politike, ili ja sam pomenula normativni pravni okvir i tako dalje. Nama je u samom crnogorskom kontekstu, u trenutku kad se pokrenula inicijativa i diskusija vezano za rad i djelovanje ženske političke mreže, zvanična statistika bila da je svega nekih 10% žena preduzetnica. Ta se kasnije brojka promijenila u skladu sa novom i novonapravljenom tadašnjom strategijom ženskog preduzetništva, koja je u stvari jednostavno ukazala na ono što je možda i danas jedan veliki nedostatak, a i gospođa Brzan je oko toga pričala, da u stvari žene obično posluju u manjim sektorima, onim sa manjim kapitalom, sa niskim prihodima, da su uobičajeni oni procesi koji su u saradnji s institucijama, bilo lokalnog nivoa ili finansijskim institucijama, taj u stvari ograničen pristup sredstvima, odnosno kreditima koji su adekvatni. Mi smo svjesni da ono što također ne smijemo da nekako zaboravimo uvijek jeste šta su to specifičnosti koje žene koje su u biznisu, koje najmaju preduzetništvu, šta je to potrebno, šta ih to čini u stvari posebnom kategorijom za koju zaista trebaju posebne mjere. To je u stvari, evo samo jedan podatak, da žene na Zapadnom Balkanu, ovo je podatak iz istraživanja UNDP-a, prosječno 3 puta više neplaćenog rada odrade na dnevnom nivou nego muškarci, a otprilike upola manje vremena provode u plaćenom radu. Ne treba zanemariti, evo nekako nas i zapljusnuo veliki broj kriza, i onih zdravstvenih i onih koji se tiču politike, čak i ratnih sukoba koji vrlo značajno, brzo, u kratkom roku mijenjaju naše realnosti, a pritom u stvari nismo uspjeli da na adekvatan način odgovorimo i damo odgovor na sve ono što su objektivni problemi za žene u svakodnevnom životu, kao što su recimo rodni stereotipi. Pa onda dok je COVID učinio da se vrlo brzo prebacimo na nekako online ekonomiju i da tražimo rješenja, mi smo u stvari postali vrlo svjesni, čini mi se cijeli svijet je nekako u čudu zastao, zato što su u stvari žene u STEM zanimanjima koje su zanimanje budućnosti zastupljene sa svega 14%. Sad, konkretno, kad imate ovako veliku paletu problema, vi u stvari nekako i ne znate najprije od čega krenuti, da li su to politike, da li su to strategije i tako dalje. I za nas je nekako najhitnija reakcija i najčešće zahtijevana od strane samih žena bila ta u stvari da se obezbijedi dostupnost konkretnim finansijskim sredstvima na način da oni u stvari budu povoljni. I tu su se javile 2 škole mišljenja. Jedna je bila da li u stvari treba davati grantove kao bespovratna sredstva za žensko preduzetništvo ili treba ići u pravcu stvaranja nekih malih jeftinih kreditnih linija i tako dalje. Međutim, prevagnula je ova mjera s obzirom da je cijela politička intervencija bila usmjerena na lokalne budžete, to je vrlo važno da kažem, na opštine, jer je u tom trenutku i pripreman budžet, lokalni budžeti su bili pripremani, onda je u stvari išlo se ka tome da se iskoristi modalitet koji već postoji za raznorazne fondove, poljoprivredne i tako dalje, za civilno društvo. I išli smo ka tome donijeta odluka da se ide na bespovratna sredstva kako bi se pomogao razvoj ženskog preduzetništva. Zahvaljujući vrlo brzom, snažnom djelovanju političarki kroz strukture, formalne strukture moći, neformalne strukture moći, u budžetima 2019. 20. godine više od polovine opština u Crnoj Gori usvojilo budžete za žensko preduzetništvo, neki su bili poprilično skromni, radili su neke pionirske korake, neki su već krenuli od skale od 200.000 eura do pola miliona i tako dalje. I danas ti lokalni budžeti i iste te mjere kao financijske mjere vrlo se solidno razvijaju sa portfolijom i budžetom koji je kontinuirano dat na raspolaganje lokalnom građanstvu. E sad, ovaj rad i djelovanje ženske političke mreže u stvari bio pravi primjer, u stvari koliko vi kada imate donosioce odluka, cijelu strukturu i poznavanje, dobro informisanu podlogu, istraživanja koje vam kažu šta u stvari najhitnije treba da se radi, stvoren jedan proboj u uspostavljanju lokalnih mjera, intervencija, podrške, koji su bili veoma komplementarni sa već postojećim setom mjera koje su partneri naši koji sam pomenula već bili razvili sa lokalnim upravama, kao što su recimo treninzi, edukacije, neke besplatne usluge i tako dalje. Ali to mrežno djelovanje ženske političke mreže nam je u stvari dalo vrlo jasnu instrukciju, da tako kažem, ili to je jedno od vrlo važnih iskustava koje mi sada preslikavamo na regionalni nivo kroz mrežu žena u STEM-u. Iz razloga što se STEM javlja kao jedna od vrlo velikih tema zbog toga što su poslovi budućnosti, rekla sam već, svega 14% žena učestvuju u ovim poslovima, a to su nam poslovi budućnosti, da ne kažem od cloud computinga i e-commerce pa do robotike ili vještačke inteligencije, to su stvari one sfere koje mi trebamo da osvajamo. I možda tu nekako...
Hvala, Kaca, moramo da skratiti malo, jel? Okej, da...
Samo da zaključim da je to u stvari vrlo jasno vezano sa onim što sam htjela na početku da kažem, da mi ne možemo da se bavimo pitanjem ženskog preduzetništva, da se ne bavimo kompletnim sistemom od obrazovanja, tržišta rada, institucija i tako dalje. Hvala.
Thank you. So now a question for Ms. Sanja Popović Pantic as chair of 𝐸𝐸N thematic group Women Entrepreneurship. As the survey revealed, your institution have a key role on promotion of a woman entrepreneurship, and developing a gender equality culture is paramount for young women. Which is the impact it had, and why promotion is important?
Thank you for this question. Yes, I'm here representing on the one side the thematic group of Women Entrepreneurship of the Enterprise Europe Network, and also I'm presenting Association of Business Women in Serbia, which is promoting female entrepreneurship through one very recognized board for 16 years now, and there are some 500 women that the owners and also they are running their own businesses, and they have been promoted in different categories, from those that are exporting to those that have received special recognition for specific dimensions of their businesses, like innovation, like corporate social responsible business, like developing of good brand, recognized brand, and many other aspects. So the idea was to promote not one woman, the best woman of the year, the best woman entrepreneur of the year, but to recognize them in different sectors. Also, it is mentioned that STEM and digitalization, of course, is a great topic. So we always follow these new trends and try to recognize and highlight the good examples of women in these specific sectors, like it will be for sure green technologies as well. And this month, by the end of October, we are going to have this 16 celebration ceremony, which is supported by many stakeholders. And this is very important that when in the time when we started with promotion of these examples, it was not that much, accepted by the society, by the stakeholders. We've been lucky that the Ministry of Economy always recognized, because this is our line ministry, they recognize the importance of women in entrepreneurship even before the EU asked our government to promote it. So this is very important because we in this region always do something which is asked by upper level or by EU in this case, but it doesn't make a sense if we really don't recognize that this is important for our economies. Not to have women like decoration in the boards or whatever, or the decision-making position, but it is a question of economic development, because we hear today a lot of statistics that prove this is economies will do much better if and there are database, evidence-based policies which really highlight that economies with more gender equality perform better.
Thank you.
So this is what we
Marija
really did.
has another question.
Thank you very much. It's very important to promote women as role models. As we saw from the survey, this is what also entrepreneurs expect. And I think you are doing a wonderful job. And I think that Kaca's example of focusing on STEM is also breaking the stereotypes of encouraging women to enter a male-dominated sectors, which are the sectors of the future economic development, but also are sectors where all the knowledge services and economy will be striving. We have here Tiziana Pompei, who is working for Unioncamere Italy and who has an experience of how this can bring results if we focus on traditionally male sectors and support women's entrance to the sector, how that can increase their sustainability and growth, but in the same time improve gender equality in these traditionally male sectors. Can you please explain your initiative to us?
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you to Chambers of Commerce of Montenegro. Thank you to the IC Forum. And thank you, Gino Sabatini, my friends, and my vice president, because Gino is Unioncamere vice president. I speak in Italian language. It's better for you, I think. Allora, è vero. L'Italia ha una storia importante, diciamo, sull'imprenditoria, una grande esperienza di imprenditorialità e anche di imprenditorialità femminile, anche se ovviamente in termini di numeri si può fare di meglio. Noi in Italia abbiamo un osservatorio sull'imprenditoria femminile che ci restituisce una fotografia delle imprese femminili in Italia. Diceva prima il presidente Sabatini, il tema dei dati è importante, perché è importante non solo perché ci fa capire diciamo, come dire, la fotografia dell'imprenditoria anche in questa regione, ma soprattutto è importante pensare ad una definizione di impresa femminile che possa essere comune a livello europeo, ma anche a livello regionale. In Italia le imprese femminili sono 1.300.000, sono il 22% del totale. In quest'area le Marche hanno un tasso di femminilizzazione superiore alla media nazionale, il 24%, l'Abruzzo il 25% e il Molise il 27%, quindi è un'area, come dire, molto vitale. Però le nostre imprese femminili hanno delle caratteristiche proprie, è stato detto, le nostre come quelle diciamo della maggior parte dei paesi europei, sono concentrate soprattutto nei servizi, come ci diceva anche prima la Survey, sono di più piccole dimensioni, sono più diffuse al sud, sono più giovani, nel senso che sempre più giovani donne decidono di fare impresa e hanno però purtroppo una minore capacità di sopravvivenza. L'altro elemento utile alla riflessione è che, per esempio, in Italia crescono le start-up innovative, quindi crescono le imprese diciamo che scelgono di andare verso settori a maggior contenuto di conoscenza. Dal 2019 ad oggi sono cresciute del 40% le nostre start-up innovative. Questo significa che proprio durante l'epidemia Covid le donne hanno deciso di fare impresa, di investire in questa particolare tipologia di società. E però non solo diciamo nelle start-up innovative, ma anche in quei settori ad alto contenuto di conoscenza, come per esempio i servizi di informazione, di comunicazione, le attività finanziarie, le attività assicurative, le attività scientifiche. Quindi questo significa che bisogna puntare diciamo sulla digital transformation, quindi sul digitale, che comporta cambiamento di leadership, che comporta un modo diverso anche di pensare, nuovi modelli di business, insomma un legame donne digitale che deve mettere però poi al centro il tema anche delle competenze. E noi come sistema delle camere di commercio, rete dei comitati per l'imprenditoria femminile, che è una rete che affianca le camere in questo percorso, abbiamo sempre incentivato diciamo le imprese e le donne a cimentarsi in ambiti che sono prevalentemente appannaggio degli uomini, e lo facciamo diciamo ovviamente con l'obiettivo da un lato di sviluppare una maggiore consapevolezza delle ragazze ed orientarle verso le materie STEM, e questo sia a livello di scelte scolastiche ma anche a livello di scelte universitarie. E poi alla fine diciamo perché queste competenze da una parte servono per creare imprese più innovative, ma dall'altra anche per stimolare le imprese tradizionali a spingersi verso ambiti che sono quelli diciamo più innovativi, quelli del digitale. Quindi penso per esempio anche ai servizi di comunicazione, ai servizi professionali, quindi diciamo non soltanto per far nascere nuove e giovani imprese, ma anche per consolidare e rafforzare quelle già esistenti. E quindi questo percorso diciamo va irrobustito, bisogna incoraggiare l'ingresso ovviamente delle donne in questi settori finora appannaggio degli uomini, e noi per esempio in Italia sta partendo proprio in questi giorni un piano nazionale sull'imprenditoria femminile che gestito nell'ambito di un progetto del PNRR e che proprio vuole supportare le imprese femminili negli ambiti del digitale, ma soprattutto con attività di orientamento e di formazione verso i percorsi di studio STEM e verso la sensibilizzazione delle donne verso le professioni dell'economia digitale.
Excellent. I want to congratulate you actually because I think it's very important what you're doing, and your approach is really very inspiring for our region, where we also should focus on sustainability of the knowledge economy service sector through engaging more women. Alessandro?
Yeah, I think so. And I would have, if you can share some policy program that Unioncamere Italy has implemented to address the gender gap in entrepreneurship and foster gender equality.
Sì, allora diciamo noi anche su questo come sistema italiano, il sistema camerale, ovviamente abbiamo sempre pensato che l'empowerment e il raggiungimento della parità di genere diciamo fosse uno strumento per far emergere le risorse e l'ingresso diciamo e il potenziale inespresso delle donne e delle ragazze diciamo anche per raggiungere gli obiettivi del Piano Nazionale di Ripresa e Resilienza e il Next Generation EU. E per questi motivi l'Unioncamere è partner istituzionale del Dipartimento delle Pari Opportunità italiano per la realizzazione e la costruzione del Sistema Nazionale per la Certificazione della Parità di Genere, un sistema di certificazione volontario rivolto a tutte le imprese e che oggi è unico in Europa perché l'Italia ha fatto questa scelta diciamo, ed è l'unico sistema di certificazione che viene sostenuto, quindi viene finanziato, quindi le imprese vengono finanziate per essere accompagnate con attività di consulenza, ma anche essere accompagnate proprio nei costi della certificazione. E la certificazione è importante perché l'obiettivo qual è? Non solo banalmente l'aumento dell'occupazione, ma anche proprio la riduzione del gender gap, una maggiore trasparenza nei processi di lavoro e anche diciamo l'integrazione della dimensione di genere negli investimenti, e cioè in Italia ci sono delle premialità per l'accesso ai finanziamenti per chi si certifica, quindi significa, come dire, una modalità diciamo per incentivare una premialità per le imprese che si certificano, e questo non ha un significato soltanto etico o sociale, ma anche una dimensione economica, perché abbiamo sentito maggiore occupazione significa anche e sostenibilità, diciamo, sociale, di cui la parità di genere è uno dei pilastri, significa anche aumento della competitività, aumento del PIL, che si riflette ovviamente su tutto il sistema economico. E quindi diciamo parità, ma parità secondo me deve essere, parità di genere deve essere intesa in senso ampio, e cioè non soltanto appunto nei generi, ma anche valorizzazione di tutte le culture, di tutti i talenti, di tutte le generazioni e di tutte le culture. Quindi diciamo parità come valore. E di questo abbiamo parlato anche in un incontro che abbiamo fatto pochi mesi fa con la delegazione croata nel contesto di 𝐈𝐌𝐏𝐻𝐑𝐄𝐍𝐓, che è la rete di Eurochambre delle Camere di Commercio europee, e proprio dal titolo Parità di genere e principi ESG. Allora, così, quindi una collaborazione importante con quella rete, così come una collaborazione importante quella che abbiamo con questo forum ormai di cui facciamo parte da anni. Allora, per diffondere questa cultura della parità e dell'inclusione, di cosa c'è bisogno? C'è bisogno di percorsi formativi, cioè c'è bisogno di formazione, l'ho detto anche prima sul discorso delle materie STEM, però anche in questo ambito c'è bisogno di formazione per superare quei pregiudizi che spesso sono inconsapevoli, no? Affrontarli con lucidità, perché poi i pregiudizi, i bias sono anche facili, no? Per il nostro cervello, perché delle volte ci aiutano a prendere delle decisioni anche molto più velocemente e ci fanno scegliere più facilmente, più velocemente, però vanno superati. E allora, diciamo, secondo me possiamo raggiungere davvero concretamente gli obiettivi di questo sistema di certificazione, che è un tema anche culturale, proprio diciamo con una formazione permanente e strutturale, perché se la parità di genere appunto è un problema culturale, la formazione è lo strumento migliore, e quindi noi faremo queste attività nell'ambito di quel progetto e quindi lavoreremo sui temi dell'empowerment femminile, del linguaggio inclusivo, del work-life balance, degli stili di leadership, del welfare aziendale e cercando appunto di avvicinare sempre di più tutte le imprese, perché in realtà questo sistema è rivolto soprattutto alle imprese non femminili, nel senso alle femminili, ma anche e soprattutto alle non femminili. Grazie.
Thank you very much. It's excellent that you mentioned that achieving gender equality can be done only if we don't only specifically focus on women entrepreneurs, but also to have different interventions that support gender equality in other companies which are not maybe women-led and women-owned. And this certification is one of the areas. Another could be also supporting such transformation through public procurement processes and giving awards to those companies who are actually committing to make a transformation within the company, whether it is women-led or men-led. Interestingly, I know of a certification method that is initiated in Croatia. It's called Mom Force, and it's looking on all these aspects that you were talking about, entering into the employment, growing, having career development within the company, but also supporting different work and life balance measures within the company is key to this certification method that is initiated in Croatia, but I know that they have done some replication in Serbia, in the country where I come from, which we call now North Macedonia, and so on. It's also important to use other regional initiatives that can through which we can replicate these good examples. And one of them is the network of women entrepreneurs that is supported by the Regional Cooperation Council for Southeast Europe. Evisi Kopliku is the expert on competitiveness within this council, and she is working on women's entrepreneurship very hard. The council has just published the Women's Entrepreneurship in Western Balkans stock taking on constraints and good practices study, which determines huge gaps in women's entrepreneurship, but very interesting trend across the region. So I would ask Evisi maybe on the role the RCC is having to bridge this gap and maybe replicating these good examples that we have in the region by supporting diffusion in other countries where we don't have it.
Hello.
Do we have Evisi online?
Hello, Maria. Hello, everyone. Greetings, and thank you. First of all, let me thank you for the invitation to join this event. Very important question indeed, but I would like to start with a parenthesis and take a few seconds to maybe think that despite all this.
We hear you now. There was a connection problem.
Sorry for the glitches. So maybe despite these challenges and issues that still persist when it comes to women empowerment and that we are talking about today, maybe we should be happy that the Nobel Prize of Economics has been recently awarded to a professor, Claudia Goldin, for her work on women participation and women pay. So very important achievement for the professor first and for all of us in the work that we do. So getting back to your question, as you rightfully said, yes, thanks to RCC support and the great work done by experts in the region, we did a stock taking of challenges, but also good practices of women empowerment in the region. And as you rightfully said, it is widely observed that there are legal and policy frameworks that have improved or continue to do so, also in line with the EU standards, thanks to the European integration processes of all the Western Balkan economies. But effective implementation remains a challenge. And RCC, in order to bridge the identified gaps, plays several roles. One key role that we have is the advocacy and awareness, first at regional level in the Western Balkans and also at EU level, and bridging the gap as much as we can between the region and the EU. So we advocate for effective implementation and monitoring of policies that aim to support women entrepreneurship, and we do this by engaging with policymakers, with relevant agencies in the region, but also other stakeholders, and quite importantly, the private sector, in particular women entrepreneurs. To do this, we have established the regional network of women in entrepreneurship, through which we engage in this dialogue with each other, with policymakers, with the private sector, and this is a good platform that we use to share good practices. To give a concrete example, just in one of our recent regional working group meetings, where we brought together, among others, also representatives of statistical offices, we understood clearly the necessity to collect more or if not collected at all, to start collecting gender disaggregated data when it comes to business registers. And we also shared good practices of economies in the region who already do so. So this creates awareness about different issues and the importance of specifically data-driven policy implementation. Another role is, of course, played by RCC is the support to capacity building and training opportunities. We are providing, starting last year, a dedicated mentorship program for business women associations, CSOs dealing with gender equality and women empowerment, and business women themselves who have been part of our promotional campaigns of successful women entrepreneurs in the region. But we also organize capacity building workshops and seminars to policymakers that are working in this area and need upgrades and enhancements of skills. Collaboration and partnerships goes without saying, because RCC collaborates with different international and regional organizations, including in the area of women empowerment. So that allows us to foster partnerships and leverage collective expertise and resources in order to support the region in this area as much as possible. And last but not least, promotion. Through RCC, through our regional networks, including the network of women entrepreneurs, we continuously organize annual campaigns that bring to spotlight these successful role models, women entrepreneurs, other experts in the region who work and have achievements in this area. We have organized the WE campaign, so Women Entrepreneurs campaign, promoting women entrepreneur role models in the region. We are organizing annually, and I believe that's now very well known in the region, our initiative on recognizing Western Balkans Women Entrepreneurs of the Year, successful women entrepreneurs across tourism, green economy, creative industry, startups, minority groups, etc., etc. And last but not least, this year we had our campaign on choosing STEM Future, Choose a STEM Future campaign, which again aimed to recognize and enhance the visibility on the importance of STEM ladies successfully in the region and the importance of choosing STEM fields and careers for young girls and women in the region. I believe that sums it up in a nutshell.
Thank you for being concise.
Thank you. So I would like to ask to Miss Alma Harašić Bremec, President KRUG and the head of 𝐼𝐍𝐈𝐓 Academy. As the head of 𝐼𝐍𝐈𝐓 Academy, your activities involved in promoting the culinary profession through several initiatives and projects. Which kind of strategies or mentorship program you have encountered or initiated that have effectively helped women overcome challenges and achieve success in the gastronomy and culinary industry that is a traditionally male-dominated sector?
Thank you for this question. Well, as we heard many times until now, even from Evisi, promotion. It is really very important to reach out, to promote, especially today when we have so many information all around us, and we try to find a way how to put spotlights on something we would really like to share value of. So yes, we do a lot in KRUG, Association of Business Women in Croatia. We do also in 𝐼𝐍𝐈 Culinary Academy. When you come to culinary competencies, knowledge, and taking your part on the market, it is pretty much harder, or there is a big gap between men and women in this part. If we watch all the TV shows, reality shows, all the recipes, famous chefs walking all over the world, and everyone wants to be there. So they did a great promotion, but only for men. For women, we need much more mentoring, especially on what is called this work balance, but not work balance for itself, because women who decide to go for their business career and to create something from themselves, to run the business, to perhaps make a difference with a completely new project. It is much easier to get a new project from women than from a man. As we know for the moment, they need a bigger support in order to have working hours or legislation or the institution support. They know how to do for themselves, but they need really to be allowed to do it. Because sometimes there is so many reasons why you should not do this. And very often when we come to those politics, even it is national, it is local, it is global, usually we get explanations why we shouldn't do like this. But we just want to find a way how to do it. And this is the great energy the women have. And we would really like to improve this in this direction. So when we have culinary trainings, yeah, we really try to get as many women as possible. And now what we do, we start with children from kindergarten when they're 6, not before. But we need to start as early as possible. So whatever you want to be trained of, even if you want to be trained to speak loud without be afraid of, you need to start really early. You know, with pots in the kitchen, you cannot start before 6 years old because it is too high, you know, it is dangerous. So if it's not dangerous, it is okay, but we need to start as early as possible. And then when we have success, one has achieved, we need to promote it and we need to talk about it, and we need to put so much effort to mentor women how to be aware of the strength to show out, to come to show out without any fear. Promotions, trainings, master classes, articles to write, interviews to make, and always taking out on the spotlight just to inspire others. We need to inspire others to join the program.
Very good, thank you. Marija?
Excellent. Actually, what you mapped out is how to deal with empowering women, from inspiring them to self-assuring them that they have the right ideas for these economic settings or the state of the development that our countries are in at the moment. This is what similarly we do at the Secretariat for the Competitiveness Council. We study the status of women, the barriers they face on the market. And we lay down for the government of Montenegro one roadmap for making the investment climate in the country more gender responsive, to encourage them to have to not just enter the economic activity, but also to grow their businesses and to develop it further and to enter new areas of work and be included in the supply chain and so on. So related to this, I would like to ask Marina Duani, who is the president of the Scutari Regional Council, what also role of local government could have? Do you need a roadmap on local level to support women economic activities? And how would you assess also the needs of local governments to develop policies in this area, so that we can work together?
Parlerò in italiano, quindi sono molto lieta di essere oggi in questa speciale pannello e ringrazio gli organizzatori, la Camera di Commercio, il sostegno del progetto e tutti i presenti qua. Io sono una giovane ragazza in politica, realmente, e in questo contesto penso di farvi un po' la visione totale attualmente in Albania delle donne. Le imprese gestite da donne sono 3 volte inferiori a quelle possedute da uomini, ma la presenza femminile ha rafforzato il ruolo nell'economia e nella società di Albania, anche se sono meno, hanno avuto un impatto fondamentale. Le donne imprenditrici lavorano in media da 50 a 60 ore settimanali. per amministrare l'azienda, mentre che gli uomini no. Circa il 70% delle donne imprenditrici hanno utilizzato i risparmi personali e familiari come principale fonte di finanziamento per avviare l'impresa e solo il 30% di loro ha chiesto i prestiti, ma che le banche, quasi tutti questi prestiti, le richieste sono state accettate. Le imprese femminili seguono il flusso generale dell'economia del paese, operano principalmente nel commercio al dettaglio, nei servizi di artigianato, moda e turismo. La maggior parte delle imprenditrici vivono nelle grandi città. Il 15% di loro vive in zone rurali e circa il 30% ha completato l'istruzione superiore o si occupa di economia, affari e finanza. La stragrande maggioranza ritiene di essere entrata con successo nel mercato, mentre le altre citano come principali ostacoli la mancanza di potere d'acquisto, il calo della domanda di mercato, la concorrenza, la mancanza di informazione e di pubblicità. Adesso il ruolo del Consiglio regionale di Scutari è un attore chiave nel sviluppo dell'economia del nord dell'Albania, coordinando con varie organizzazioni e agenzie di sviluppo nazionali e internazionali. La nostra istituzione ha stipulato un numero significativo di strategie di sviluppo locale e regionale, come lo studio del mercato di lavoro, sostegno ai centri di formazione professionale, la strategia del turismo, settore considerato prioritario. In ognuno di questi documenti elaborati il ruolo delle donne è visto come una priorità. Il Consiglio regionale di Scutari con programmi della Unione Europea come IPA Albania, Montenegro, IPA Adriatico, Interreg-Med, eccetera, ha implementato progetti di qualità. Nell'ambito di un progetto di governance nell'area Adriatico-Ionico, qualche anno fa si è sviluppato un incontro con donne di politica e di affari. A Scutari è stato firmato un memorandum di cooperazione delle donne, nonché è stata aperta una fiera esclusivamente con prodotti delle aziende di donne della nostra regione. Il ruolo della donna imprenditrice in molti progetti è stato l'obiettivo principale. Le donne artigiane dell'area intorno a Scutari hanno partecipato nei corsi di formazione per miglioramento dei prodotti a diverse fiere nazionali e internazionali e un marchio locale di artigiani è stato già creato. La loro partecipazione non riguarda solo il lavoro, ma anche la fornitura di idee per migliorare il clima e l'atmosfera aziendale. Inoltre sono stati organizzati dei festival e fiere transfrontalieri con promuovere i valori culturali del nostro territorio. Sono stati creati dei musei etnografici locali per i quali le donne artigiane hanno prodotto ed esposto costumi nazionali. Nel campo culinario il ruolo della donna è essenziale, preparando e presentando i prodotti locali ad un livello molto soddisfacente che ha influenzato nella crescita dei turisti stranieri che apprezzano e promuovono questi prodotti di accoglienza. 4 donne della mia regione che operano nel campo della produzione artigianale alberghiera, sui prodotti biologici e sul turismo, proprio a Seth, Fushares, Kelment e Scutari, sono state stimate con il premio Donne di successo nelle aree rurali, assegnato dall'Agenzia delle Nazioni Unite per l'uguaglianza di genere e l'empowerment femminile, UN Women. Questo premio viene assegnato per la prima volta come un'opportunità per riconoscere e promuovere il ruolo della donna nell'economia rurale per aiutarle a migliorare le attività che hanno avviato. Come conclusione, sembra appropriato l'idea, credo che prima qualcun altro l'ha già detto più o meno la stessa cosa, di una rete dove le donne dell'Adriatico e dell'Ionico abbiano più contatto tra loro e la possibilità di trovare un mercato online per promuovere qualsiasi prodotto che ciascuna ha. Un progetto del genere non so ancora se si è realizzato, però sarebbe una buona idea se ci pensiamo su. Grazie, ho avuto un po' di emozioni, scusate.
So now we have Miss Idaira Robaina Alfonso online, 𝐬𝐿𝐼 Project Advisor.
Yes.
So
Hello.
Idaira, yeah, hello, welcome.
Hello. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for the kind invitation. I am indeed a project advisor working in the European Commission at the 𝐬𝐼, that is the agency dealing with all the SMEs, supporting SME. But today I'm here particularly to talk a little bit about what indeed we are trying to do at EU level to support women. So I'm very happy to see that in the panel there is my kind friend Sanja, who is the chair of the thematic group Enterprise Europe Network, who I am also in charge. So I think it's important, and I'm very happy to participate in this panel because I have been hearing a lot of the same wording and the same worry. So I'm very pleased to see that we are all in the same path, because indeed, for us in 𝐬𝐼, our objective is clear when we are talking about women entrepreneur, and is give more credit and more support to women entrepreneurs. And it's not just because of a social point of view, because it's nice to have a gender balance, that it is, and it's really important, but also from an economic perspective, because it has been said already by previous speaker, but it's truly true that the woman has a decisive role in the economic recovery. And we have seen at the European Commission several studies that businesses that are led by women tend to be more innovative, more productive, they faster growing. So we have seen also that if we manage, and when we manage, because this is important message to pass, when we manage to have the equality, this will create 10.5 million jobs by 2015 in Europe, and it will boost the economy by between 1.95 and 3 trillion euros. So there are huge figures that we are managing at the European Commission. We have been doing several studies because as we have been talking all morning, female entrepreneur is a must and we need to support them, but we have to do it in several ways. So we at 𝐬𝐼, we are doing, first of all, for us, keyword is visibility. Visibility, success stories, promotion. We have been repeating these words. This is really important, and this is also why we also have our Enterprise Europe Network, and right now we have at this very important Enterprise Europe Network thematic group, Women Entrepreneurship, that is one of the biggest, by the way, in the whole network. That means that we can see also the importance that is taken within a network that is count with more than 800 members. But I was saying that support is important, and at the 𝐬𝐼 we are doing it in several ways. First, by mentoring. It's important to acquire, to provide the competence and the skills to women entrepreneurs, but it's also important to, and I have here different experience and success stories already on entrepreneurship education. And indeed, we are totally agree, and we think that we have to start seeing scratch since the beginning, talking about primary, even secondary. Girls and young ladies need to be informed that there is an option, that because we have been educated for many years that this is for men, this is so, no, we have to change the mindset, and we have to do it since the beginning, since they are little ones. And the main message is, if you can dream it, you can do it. So this is a message we want to pass to the girls and the future women entrepreneurs in Europe. So then, of course, we have been talking also about, and it's totally true, we have an issue of the funding, and it's totally true, I totally agree that there are particularities, there are specific needs when we are talking about women-led companies. And this is why at the European level, and in particular at 𝐬𝐼, we are working on targeted funding and specific guidance, specific support, because first of all, we have to be able to increase the number of women entrepreneurs applying to EU fundings, because again, the psychology here is working against us. A lot of women say, oh, this is impossible, it's very difficult. It is difficult, it is champion leagues, but with the support that we are providing an 𝐼𝐍𝐼 and an Enterprise Europe network and many other networks we are creating, they can increase indeed the numbers, at least participating. And then again, we are creating, and I will talk about that in a few minutes. And we are also creating a specific support for women who want to apply to EU funding in order to trying to increase the percentage of women-led companies that indeed receive funding by the EU. So these are many of the objectives we have. There are lots. So this is why we are working very hard on that. And last but not least, we have to tackle the segregation and the stereotypes. We are doing in several ways, of course. We have, first of all, at political level, I suppose that since you are all experts in the subject, you know that we have this Gender Equality Strategy 2025. And we are very proud that finally, and it's really unbelievable that we need 10 years of negotiation to have finally adopted in November 22 the directive on gender balance in corporate boards. So it took 10 years. So we managed. So things are moving little by little, but I'm sure that we will get on the spot. But indeed, I agree with previous speakers that there is a lot still to be done. So at 𝐼𝐍𝐼, I explained you our objectives, but at 𝐼𝐍𝐼 in particular, we didn't start yesterday promoting and supporting women. We have been doing that for several years, and we have several running projects right now to specifically target for women-led companies. And to show you the importance that 𝐼𝐍𝐼 is giving to women entrepreneurs, I suppose that you know, if not, I tell you now, we are right now running 2 EU funding programs, the EIC, European Innovation Council, and the SMMP, so Single Market Program, sorry. So in both of them, we have several running projects specifically for women. I won't go into the detail. If you need more information or you are interested, I can provide you later on. But just to name them, we have, for example, on the EIC program, the EU Prize for Women Innovators. I'm pretty sure that you already know them because we launched it already in 2011. We have already awarded more than 30 women with this Women Innovation Award, and we have 100 already listed as finalists. And it's not that the prize ends with the awards, because what we have done is that we have taken all these shortlisted women, and we have invite them to be role model. So role model to when we are creating these events, specifically to promote the woman, to make new entrepreneurs, new women believe that, you know, it's not just a dream. You have in front of you someone that tried and success. So we are. This is, I think, it's really important. Also to mention the role model that we have. We are applying very seriously at EU level. Then I heard that previous speakers speak about the importance of the startups and on women-led companies, that they are really increasing the number. And I'm very happy to mention the Women Tech EU, because it's a specific project for startups. It's a small grant of 70,000 euros, but it helped to these specific women-led companies that are in the very beginning of the business trip to go to the next levels. It's a first-class coaching and mentoring for these female founders. So something to keep in mind, to pass the message to these companies that you might consider that might need this extra help. And then, as I was mentioned at the beginning, it's important finance. Finance is totally crucial, and they need it. And we are totally aware that when EU companies led by women try to apply to EIC, that is like the Champion League for fundings, they find really a lot of difficulties, and the numbers are not very good. They are not very well represented, and the few of them that try, not all of them, of course, get the finance. So we have created this program that is called EN to EIC. And the idea is that our experts in the Enterprise Europe network support these women applicants that want to give a try to get the finance. So there are things moving. for finance also, and to support them through all the process to apply for finance at EU level. Then I can also mention that now in the single market program, we have, like I mentioned before, this woman entrepreneur thematic group in 𝐸-Enterprise Europe Network. Then we are supporting women since the beginning from all the stage. We are giving a lot of visibility. We have a huge network. We are helping them to find partners, to find new opportunities, also to identify maybe what is the best funding opportunity for them, because we tend to go always to EU, and it's a good option. But sometimes there are regional funds that are more appropriate and are available, and some women's entrepreneurs are not aware. So Enterprise Europe Network experts and partners are there to assist them and to help. And the good news is free of charge for all SMEs that are willing to have advice for the Enterprise Europe Network. And another good news, they are all over the world, not only in EU, but they are all over the world. So again, if you want to seek for more detailed information, I invite you to visit the Enterprise Europe Network website, and then you can find your local contact point and so on and so forth. And last but not least, but I think I need to talk about this project because it's really fabulous, and you have been mentioning it already, a STEAM project. We have it's a pilot project, but it's going so well that I believe and I think and I hope that it will be just the first of the beginning of a lot. We were talking about the importance of education, that entrepreneurship has to be educated in the schools. But here we are going to a next level. We are focusing on women, on girls. We are talking about a STEAM fest for girls from 9 to 11 years old. Of course, we prepare everything tailor-made for the age. We have some role models coming to make some intervention. Then we have a second group for younger girls. So for younger teenagers, like from 14 to 18. Then again, they have some escape rooms, games, always with the aim to show them, look, STEAM careers is also for you. Is there. If you want it, you can do it, and we can show you how you can do it. So there are 19 STEAM projects, STEAM Fest, that we are going to organize in the next 3 years. They are going during all 3 years they will visit 19 member states. The next one is in Spain, 26th of October in Mérida, in the south of Spain. But again, there is also a STEAM community. So if you are interested in this project, again, you can visit the website. And if you don't find it, the organizer have my email, so you can contact me and I will feed you and pass you all the information, because we have a lot to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daira, for this very inspiring elaboration of what the EU is supporting in terms of women's entrepreneurship. It's a very clear message that we are getting, both from the research and what is actually addressed with different measures on EU level, that access to finance is the biggest problem. And this is how we are going to approach it, by providing public funds specifically designed for women-led and women-owned companies. But this is not enough, as we know. There is a lot of opportunity in the investors, in hedge funds, in venture capital that is unutilized. So I'm very happy that we have here also representative from UN Women, the Women's Economic Empowerment Project Program Coordinator, Anela Lemes, is with us, who is also leading the work of the Women's Entrepreneurship Expo, which is providing interactive space for women entrepreneurs to meet investors. And the private sector representatives for networking, collaboration, and new investments. Last year, we had even bigger drop in venture capital investments in women-owned and led companies. If it was 2% only in the COVID year, last year it was even less than 2%, 1%. which was suggesting that investors need the self-esteem training to trust more women and businesses than the women who are presenting these business ideas. Do you face the same problems where investors do not recognize women's businesses ideas, or you have good impact from the Women's Expo? Anela?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be at the forum and to meet all these distinguished guests and speakers. What I learned from up until now is that even though we all invest in so many activities and capacity building sessions, we are still facing so many problems and issues when it comes to the women's economic empowerment, which needs to be tackled from both, but not just when I'm referring to the issues, I'm not referring only to the Western Balkan. We are used to have issues in the Western Balkan, but we are talking about issues and problems and obstacles that are facing on European level, women are facing on a European level. When it comes to the UN Women, when we wanted to introduce the Expo moment, we of course produced as much as possible research data based on which we actually organized and focused our efforts in this area. We realized, then I will repeat most of the things that have been discussed by my previous colleagues in this panel, that capacity building sessions are problems, skills development is a problem, business management is a problem. Women need to invest more efforts in securing the knowledge and skills in this area, but mostly access to finance, of course, not just when it comes to the banking schemes, but also the grant support and subsidy programs provided by the governmental institutions are usually very limited and very hard to be achieved when it comes to the women's entrepreneurs, especially in Western Balkan. But also, and we heard it from the beginning and opening of the forum, the lack of networking opportunities was actually the highest grade when it comes to the women's entrepreneurs. They graded the most that they are lacking the networks where they can explore all of these obstacles and speak to each other and speak with investors. At the same time, we shouldn't forget about the fact that 70% of global employment is actually based on micro and SMEs development. So there is a huge opportunity which we need to explore and really jump into this area and to really provide support as much as possible. That is the reason why we decided to start the Expo in 2021, right after the COVID, which also influenced a lot on women's empowerment. The results were really excellent. We provided opportunity for women to network, to learn from each other, and also to discuss with the investors, but also, as you mentioned at the beginning, also to educate and train the investors on the needs that from the women's side. It's really important to do the both side trainings during these events. In 2021, we had more than 200 women who participated in the event, and more than 100 had an option, and this is rare option for most of them, to attend market exhibition spaces to present their businesses to other companies. In 2022, we had almost 300 entrepreneurs coming out of 50 countries in the Europe and Central Asia, where, for example, 300 networking meetings were organized aside of the events, and also almost 800 private companies attended the expo. What were the results? The results were actually that almost 50% of women attending the program increase their revenues, they increase their sales. Some of them also increase the number of their staffing. But we need to be realistic. These are not only positive, we shouldn't talk only about positive examples. For example, when an investor decided to invest in seven companies last year, not just in Western Balkan, but in the whole Europe, 6 of them were actually from the Europe and men owned businesses, while only 1 was female owned business and coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina. This offer came with two conditions. One is to move out the business out of Bosnia and Herzegovina due to the legislative obstacles that we all are aware that exist, not just in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but in Western Balkan, in order how to export all the business to the European market. And that was actually the condition that entrepreneur even accepted. But what was problematic is the offer that came to a woman was way lower than the rest of the offers that came to all other men colleagues that were coming from the European area. So I would say that even though we so much invest in all of our programs, I heard plenty of examples from the previous speakers, we still need, all of us need to be aware that there are plenty of work in front of us in order to face all the obstacles and to be very cautious when implementing all these programs in our countries.
Thank you very much for this, especially for the last point. As you know, I also act as EBRD policy coordinator for the Women in Business program. And I can use this opportunity to promote that actually EBRD in our region has just launched WIFI, Women Entrepreneurship Financial Initiative, together with all the international financial institutions to break the gender bias you were just speaking about in the financial institutions, so that we can collect data. We know how much actually women-led and women-owned businesses are receiving finances, have access to the finances, and whether we actually have a gender bias in the financial sector, and how we can, through training, awareness raising, actually break that bias, transform the institutions that are deciding on who is accessing the finances, and provide more opportunities for women in business to grow their business, to start and grow their business. With this, I would like to actually maybe conclude on this panel. I think that you rightly said, all of you, there are still gaps. There are important initiatives across the region that we can see are focusing on entrepreneurship training, on mentoring, on matching the women in led businesses with the investors, but also with the public funded schemes that are specifically designed for women in business, to promote role models of women entrepreneurs, and to work on further inspiring new businesswomen to enter the economic activity and entrepreneurship activities, but also to support gender equality in other companies, not just women-led and women-owned companies, including through networking and regional cooperation. I think that we are already doing a lot, but it's not enough. We should step up our game and provide even more support along these lines that we already have identified as good practices and excellent initiatives of promoting women entrepreneurship across the region. Thank you very much for being our champions today, and everyone for being present. And I hope that we can diffuse these ideas and initiatives across the region.
Thank you. Thank you to all the speakers of this first panel. And as one of the speakers said, if you can dream it, you can do it. But if you don't dream alone and you receive support along the way, you reach your goal better and faster. So that's what we will be focusing on. So we will now stop for the light lunch, and we will see you back here at 2 o'clock for the second panel of today's event. devoted to the actual protagonists of the sector, the entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.